In this video, I'm going to talk about the benefits of takt planning and what we can do for projects. So one of the first things I want to talk about is the umbrella concept of the integrated production control system. This has three components, really: the first planner system, the last planner system, and the Takt Production System. And so they cover the planning for a project, the systems, and being able to create flow in the field. And so you can't just implement one and expect all of the others to work properly. They have to be unified together. So first planner system, Takt Production System, and last planner system together, that's what makes for a lean project. If you want to look at this in a different format, more left to right from the inception of a project to completion, that might make a bit more sense. Obviously, we start with the right team and the right paradigms with the owners. We obviously start with the right planning and pre-construction and lean project management, but that has to be according to a rhythm here, according to the Takt Production System, and then that has to be in front of the trade partners as a part of a collaborative plan that's highly visual for the project to flow with the people boots on the ground. So this is how all of them tie together. So when specifically talking about Takt, that is really the first step. The Takt Production System is a system that maps flow, and it stabilizes the project so that you can really go, I'm going to say go fast and gain time. It's made on one page, showing all the types of flow so that you can actually see it in a 4D format. It has buffers so you can absorb interruptions, variation, and delay. And it pairs with Last Planner perfectly to involve the trade foreman, and it's the central theme of all that we do. So all construction schedules should be formatted like this: time on the top, location on the left, so you can see that active flow. So the key here is it's not just workflow that's important, it's the trade flow. Trade flow is what gets projects finished well. So the reason that it's so important to have time on the top and location on the left is so we can balance that rhythm for the starts of phases and the end, so that we can keep consistent work and get better as we go for wherever it's possible. And the really important part is so that we can optimize it. So I'm going to give you an example of Little's Law, which basically says the smaller your zone size, the faster you'll go. So I just did a quick example here specifically for you in this video. Let's say you had 7 zones in a phase: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's say you had buffers, there's your milestone. If you went to, you just cut your zone sizes in half, which means the exact same work here is represented in these 2 zones, and you've made 14 zones, look at what happens to the end date. And if you look at this activity, this dark purple, this first wagon, it has the same amount of time, but the overall project finishes sooner and you gain more buffers to absorb delays. So smaller zones means you go faster. So one of the key things that I want everybody to realize is that you have a promise to your owner in the macro level Takt plan, and you can map that path of critical flow with the sequences: tie, sequence, line of balance, tie, sequence, line of balance, tie, all the way to the end. This is the path of critical flow for what's called a macro level Takt plan. This is how you get the promise for your project, and you can optimize and go faster, especially when you get those smaller zone sizes and go to what's called a norm level. So the yellow here is mapping out sequence, sequence, tie, sequence. The new line of balance, meaning that you zone it to go faster, which is called a norm level strategy: tie, sequence, line of balance, tie, sequence, line of balance. So you can accelerate your overall duration on your project by rezoning and targeting a faster speed without ever hurting your trades. And this is how you accelerate schedules. So you can promise in that scenario here, because you're going to use some of this in delays, but you can pull that schedule forward, which is quite remarkable. And then we always recommend that you have a backup. So I'll zoom in here to this and show you that the red line, sequence, 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 line of balance, tie, sequence, line of balance, tie, sequence, line of balance. You can even come up with a backup strategy and even go faster if there was some reason to do so, or the owner asked you to. We're able to calculate these speeds with this calculator that we use at LeanTakt, which is quite genius. And I really think that the calculator is the genius of Takt Planning, because you can accelerate without ever hurting people. So let's come over here and talk about what other benefits you have from the visual system. So not only can you target different speeds, but once you have your macro level Takt plan, you can pull it into your calculator and see, okay, this is our promise, but how fast do we want to go? Once we've determined that, we can determine our right zone sizes, pull plan that according to the last planner system, and that pull plan comes down and educates your Takt plan for your zones. So you never see a pull plan by itself. It's always stacked on other zones throughout the building, which is what creates your Takt phase with your right Takt time and your right zoning strategy. That's what creates your norm level schedules. Norm level schedules are basically production level schedules that are detailed enough to filter out your 6-week look ahead and your weekly work plan. It's really quite fantastic, and they're a faster pace, and they're totally doable with the trade partners because you have the same amount of time. And these are the schedules where you can then filter out your look ahead and your weekly work plan. You can then create your day plan, and then based on the execution, track your percent plan complete, your handoff percentage, any remaining buffers that you might have, and your roadblock removal average on the project site. The key here is the Takt Production System creates the backbone where each phase, and not all phases look perfect, you know, the nuances and variation for different types of projects are picked up here. They don't always look exactly like this, but you have your sequence, your line of balance, and your buffers like we talked about before, which creates your milestone. But the way to do this work well, which is possible because it's now highly visual, is you do your pull plan 3 months ahead. Your procurement is always tracked with a buffer, and your quality pre-construction meeting is done 3 weeks out ahead. The other thing that I love is with this system, you're always looking out 6 weeks ahead in your schedule to make work ready and confirming your weekly work plan from your Takt as it's vertically aligned, which is genius, and it saves the team so much time. So I want to conclude by saying, yeah, your macro level schedule is your promise. Your norm level schedule is your target. We have software that can automatically export that out to P6, Microsoft Project, Asta, any of the softwares that handle CPM. Your 6-week look ahead is filtered directly from that, and also your weekly work plan, the day plan, which allows you to track your PPC and enables the trades to complete their pre-task plan. And when you use the IPCS and Takt Production System specifically, you have stability, more team capacity, more visibility, an enjoyable and manageable work experience, and more net profit because you have a project now that flows and finishes on time. So hopefully this little video helps you out. This is meant to be an overview. If you want more information, reach out to us at any time. Thank you, everybody, and on we go.